What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew 2. And well, as y'all know, it is Wednesday, which means the new summit is now live. And well, technically, the new summit this week is going to be basically Christmas themed. It's going to be the Santa special, giving us the ugly Christmas sweater, which, I really do not understand what they were thinking with that one. But nonetheless, though, in gold, we have the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon Interception Unit. If I had to guess, though, I would say most players probably already have this car, but if you guys do not, at least you're getting yourself a free vehicle, and luckily the SRT Demon is definitely pretty awesome. If you already have this car, you will also get the money back for that. And then in silver, we have the Loot Digger boosted for the street class, which, as I did mention, I do believe that's going to only be 3 parts, but at least it is something toward a set, though. And then moving over to the next summit is going to take us into the next year, which is honestly kind of insane. I feel like 2022 really did fly by, but nonetheless, though, guys, the BMW M8 Performance Edition does honestly look pretty dope. I'm looking forward to actually driving this vehicle, and luckily, even like the other summits, you guys will be able to test out this car in the summit as well, but do keep in mind it's probably going to be base leveled. I also do believe the Corvette Stingray interception unit is probably going to be new. That thing's going to be pretty fun to test out. Stay tuned for that video as well, but besides that, it looks like this summit is mainly going to be focused on the street race category, which I honestly do understand considering this new BMW is most likely going to be a street race car. And I would also say this summit is probably going to be pretty intense because that BMW does honestly look pretty dope. I would also say it's probably going to be on the rare side with that specific body kit as well. But in gold, guys, we have the pink underglow, which is honestly going to be, well, kind of eh. Then we'll have the silver, which is going to be some spare parts. And now moving over to the next summit is going to be the Rider Challenge, which is going to give us an MX Nitrochemist boosted set. We actually haven't seen one of these in quite a while, so I would say this is definitely going to be worth going after. If I did have to guess, guys, I would say most players probably don't like riding the dirt bikes on the Crew 2, which I can definitely see where you guys are coming from. Not only that, leveling up these bikes can definitely be kind of annoying as well, so maybe going after a good Nitrochemist set would be insanely helpful. And then in gold, you guys will get yourself the KTM 450 EXC. Now, if I had to guess, I would say most players probably already have this bike, and even if you do, you're probably not going to get that much money back for having that. But moving over to the next summit is honestly going to probably be one of the most intense summits ever. The Untamed Italians is coming back once again, guys, with the Lamborghini Performante. Probably one of the most sought after cars in the entire game, to be honest. I mean, this thing is awesome. I really do love the Performante. And not only that, even to this day, it's the only car you can still customize as one of the actual Summit rewards. So that's definitely pretty sweet. And then in gold, we have the legendary half set, which would be the other part set for the drift class, which I would definitely say is also worth it. Having the extra multiplier really does help with doing the drift events, and this can also greatly improve your score in upcoming summits. And now moving over to the Santa Special Summit here, guys. So despite this one having a sweater as a platinum reward, I honestly had a really good time with this one. But jumping right into this, starting off here with the Slalom. So for this one, I did end up running the Ford Fiesta because for some odd reason I really do love running rallycross vehicles. But for the slaloms now, I would say you can probably run basically anything of your choice, guys. I mean, I really do like running the rallycross cars, but I would say the rally raid vehicle is probably going to be your best option. If you really wanted to, though, you could probably even run like a hypercar and or a street vehicle. And then moving over to the next skill is also going to be a slalom. And for this one, guys, I once again ran the Ford Fiesta. So funnily enough, my friend did end up running a monster truck for this, which is kind of hilarious, the fact that that does actually work. And then moving over to the next skill is also going to be a slalom, and for this one I did end up choosing the Ford Fiesta once again. Funnily enough, my friend actually used a monster truck, which is kind of hilarious due to the fact that many of the vehicle classes are basically very usable now with the slaloms, and I'm also planning on doing a video about that. But to be honest, guys, I would say for the Little Eagle Slalom, you can basically use almost any vehicle in the game. Now moving over to the last skill in the summit here is going to be a low altitude, and for this one I did end up using the Zivko Edge 540 V3 once again. I would say it's most likely going to be because of the handling and stability this plane has. I mean, honestly guys, it's going to be that good. If you really wanted to, though, I'm sure some of the other planes will do just fine. I mean, for this one specifically, You basically spawn in, hit the objective, and stay near the road, and you're pretty much good to go. I got 45,000 points on this, which put me at 157k, which is almost maxed out. My friend also used a Harman Rocket 3 and was only 300 points behind me, so I would basically say you can use any plane of your choice. And now moving over to the first event in the summit here is going to be a Rallycross race, and I would say many players are probably going to be pretty familiar with this event. And for this one, I did actually use the Ford Fiesta once again, guys, because I've basically only been using this Rallycross vehicle. Don't get me wrong though, I would definitely say this is not going to be the best option for this event. I mean, I would probably say the Cadillac and or the Mitsubishi is probably going to be the car you're going to want to use on this because of the speed and stability, but I do find it kind of great that the Ford Fiesta can also compete with some of the better rallycross cars in the game. And then moving over to the next event is going to be a street race where you guys get to drive the Murciélago, and I would say this car is actually pretty dang good. It's also going to be the icy Xmas race as well, so do be prepared to slide all over the place and see a lot of snow, but to my surprise, I would say the Lamborghini Murciélago is going to be one of the better street cars in the game. I mean, this thing has great handling. Not only that, I also found this race to be pretty dang fun, and I actually really do like the way some of the events in the game are actually set up for like different things and all that. Like, for example, Christmas. I feel like a lot of people are going to like this race, but even then, guys, the Lamborghini Murciélago seems to have insanely good handling and stability, which is probably going to make it one of the better street cars. And moving over to the next event is going to be a live extreme series. So for this, guys, I would say many players are probably going to recognize this one as well from last year. So for this, you guys will have to use a rally raid vehicle, a street car, and or a power boat. So for the street car, I did decide to run the Infiniti Q60, which again is probably not going to be the best option. If I had to guess, I would say most players are probably going to run the Countach. And then for the boat, I did run the 1414 Demon, which I definitely say is going to be the best boat you guys can use. And then for the Rally Raid class, I actually decided to run the Pontiac GTO The Judge, which is kind of funny because I've been using this car a lot recently, guys, and I do recommend giving this thing a shot. It has really good stability and also really good handling as well, plus a pretty competitive top speed. I do believe going down the hill in the beginning, I was doing like 184, so it's going to be kind of close to like the Ford Raptor Enforcer unit, but not only that though, it's going to be a 4-speed, which I would say is going to shock many. And then moving down to the only hypercar event in the entire summit is going to be with the Ferrari Enzo. So this is going to be one of the more open hyper races in the game. So if you guys do see some people with pretty high scores, they most likely did slipstream somebody because it's kind of easy to do in this event. For me though, I got 3 minutes and 1 seconds running by myself, and to my surprise, guys, the Ferrari Enzo is actually pretty dang good. I mean, this car has stability and handling and also a pretty decent speed as well to back it up. So I would even go as far as saying the Ferrari Enzo is going to be one of the better hypercars. I mean, just from first impressions of this event, I'm actually pretty shocked with it, and I might have to test this thing out more in the future. And then moving over to the last street race in the game, I actually decided to run the Porsche 911 Carrera 4S 992. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this car is going to be insanely good, even compared to the new Meta Countach LP 5000. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Countach is pretty incredible, but I would say the Porsche 911 Carrera 4S is pretty incredible as well. I mean, this car was basically eating the corners every single time, and the acceleration and all that's probably not the greatest, but I would also say the Porsche is going to have better acceleration than something like the Q60, so this car is definitely going to be insanely competitive. I would also say the Porsche 911 is going to have better acceleration than something like the Infiniti Q60, which has really been my go-to vehicle recently, but honestly guys, I would also say the acceleration on the Carrera 4S is going to be better than the Q60 as well, and that's actually been my go-to vehicle, but I have a feeling that's going to end up changing soon. I would say this car is going to have better acceleration than the Q60 as well, which is kind of funny because that car really has been my go-to, but I wanted to jump into the 911 Carrera 4S, and I'm not going to lie guys, I might have to start using this vehicle over the Infiniti Q60. And finally, moving over to the last event in the summit, you guys will have to use a motocross bike on a demolition derby race, and to my surprise, it really wasn't as bad as I thought, but I'm not gonna lie, I probably didn't do all that great on this race though. It is going to be the White Mountain Dirt Race, so at least it's not going to be all that difficult. Luckily, the AI really don't bother you all that much as well, so it's pretty much just you racing, and for this, guys, I would say Nitro Chemist is going to be a really big plus because you have to use your nitrous a lot. I also wouldn't doubt if there's going to be some cuts on this race as well after doing it, but I basically did this as legit as possible, even though I probably didn't do the greatest. I would also say the KTM 450 EXC is probably your best option, and my goodness guys, that Nighthawk edition from that old Motor Pass is by far going to be a really great option if you guys do have it, but that will basically do it for this summit overall though guys. Now even though the platinum reward is going to be a sweater, which my goodness, but at least we're going to have a pretty fun summit. I actually enjoyed most of the events in this one, but if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. Let's jump right into this.